Welcome everyone back to Saturday afternoon, 12:15 live stream here with Tony and Quick Tech Solutions. Looks like we already have 10 people here, so that's a great start. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So here we are. It's another Saturday. It's been an interesting week this week because I kind of feel like I've played with and explored a lot of different things, but accomplished nothing. As far as from a standpoint of what can I show them this week that I was working on or things like that. But so I really don't know. Typically where I do have an agenda, I have some notes, but I really didn't come up here today with a major plan. I just figured we're going to go and see how it plays out. There are a couple things I can share with you, but so anyway, welcome everyone. Again, Saturday afternoon, 12:15, live here with Tony and Quick Tech Solutions. Let me go over to the chat and say hello to people. So let's see. I know Grish had posted a comment yesterday, I guess it was, after I scheduled the stream, but it was there this morning, but then it disappeared. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But he's on a project, so he'll kind of be either watching the replay, but then I see down here, he says kind of listening here and there today. So I appreciate that, Grish, whatever, not a big deal. Hope you're having whatever your project is working out. Thank you for popping in and at least leaving a chat. Same thing with David from PE for Doers. David also, there was a message from David early this morning too, and I'm assuming that came in either late last night or early this morning, and saying that he's be teaching his hobby all day today. But then when I came back up, those two messages were gone. So it's been that kind of morning, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Kind of weird things happening today up here in the studio. And I know it's a full moon, and I know we have Meredith the bear, who's been actually behaving herself lately, but you never know. So, but we'll talk about some of the anomalies that have been going on, but that started with those messages being there and then disappearing. Keith Bennett is here from Life Journey Productions. Welcome, Keith. Keith says that's an interesting question, and he's referring to the live poll that I have going on, and should even make for more of an interesting conversation. Good morning. I thought so, Keith. I figured you can get multiple opinions aside from my own on this device, because there's a lot of people in this community that will, I'm sure, be willing to comment on it. And the poll is, for those of you who don't know or didn't see that there was a poll, it's very simple, a yes or no answer. Would you consider purchasing the Unify Drive UP6? And not Unify as in ubiquity, but Unify, UNIFY. So we're going to take a look at that device. I don't have it physically here, but we're going to take a look at the website and see what it's all about. Let's see. It's me saying hello to Keith. This is me on my other account accidentally trying to say hello to Keith, but didn't realize I was signed into the other account on my phone. Bluey, welcome. Happy to have you here. Joe, welcome. Good morning to you too. Actually, it's technically good afternoon. How much snow so far? 0. But we're going to talk about that in a minute too. So, Grish is saying hello from sunny San Diego, where it's 80 degrees today. Nice. Enjoy. Good afternoon, TVJ. Welcome. Happy to have you. One ear this stream, one ear on a call, on standby where I'm at. So, that's awesome. Thanks, Grish. I appreciate it. Terrell, welcome. Getting ready to go grocery shopping. I will have to watch the replay. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. And Meredith does not like cold weather, for sure. Cecil, welcome. Olaf from chilly South Florida, lows in the 30s tomorrow morning in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Yeah, we hear that area is pretty cold right now, but at least you're not getting the white stuff. So, wow, 15 people here and 9 likes. Thanks, folks. I want to bring up a picture of my outside for a second. And that is right here. So, hopefully this will work. Yeah, there we go. So this is a picture of my backyard, one of my backyard cams. You can see really it's not doing anything. It was pretty windy this morning, pretty blustery. You can see some of the grasses behind the fence here are blowing, but it's calmed down quite a bit. It was a lot grayer out before. In fact, about 20 minutes before I came up to do the stream, it was really gray, and thought we were going to start seeing the precipitation, but it didn't happen. But I have this window up just in case. I'll keep it open during the stream just in case we start to see some snow flurries. Not that you guys don't know what snow is, but it's such a rare occasion, especially the amounts that they're saying we're going to be hit with down here. Looking at the local weather, the radar for the area. So just to kind of give you an idea where we're at, if you see this patch of white and green to the right, and then this larger patch to the left of white and blue, we are kind of right in the middle here. We're a little further west from the coast, not far, about 30 minutes. And we're in this little area where my mouse is moving around in the green, right in that Wilmington area. So we didn't have any effects of what has already seemed to have passed us, but it looks like we're not going to avoid this, which they're saying it could be anywhere from 4 to 6 inches is the latest that I've heard. When they were first predicting this, like 2 days ago, when they were really zeroing in on it, they were saying 6 to 12. Then it changed 4 to 8, and now I'm hearing 4 to 6. So I'll be happy if we get the lesser. But the way it looks out right now, if you were to, be here, you would be like, it's another flop. We're not getting anything. But we'll see. But that's the prediction. And I've managed, lucky me, to secure a snow shovel from a friend of mine who happened to have 2 when he moved down from Boston. So he had mentioned it to me, and I said, yeah, man, can I borrow it? So can I borrow one? And he said, yeah. So I am streaming today at Hyperdeck Low, which, according to what it's showing me here on the Blackmagic Web Presenter splash screen, it's hovering around 12 megabits per second. So, and I'm looking at the YouTube studio, and the health is excellent, but I am getting the suggestion that says the stream's current bit rate is higher than the recommended bit rate. So, I'm going to just let it go and see what happens. But I did attempt, now it's interesting, because I did attempt this week to create my own XML file for the web presenter. And I did it using an online generator. John Barker has the H2R XML code generator, streaming code generator, and I increased it to where high settings for me, instead of being 6, which are the default on streaming high, I made the high settings like around 10. But when I loaded it up into the web presenter and I selected that profile and streaming high or high streaming, I wasn't getting any more than 6.5. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. So I just decided to go with Hyperdeck Low today and see how YouTube Studio responds. And I don't even know if there's any difference in what you guys are seeing at home, if it's even worth it going from streaming high to Hyperdeck Low. So anyway, let me know in the comments if you see a difference. So Let's see. Joe says, I was watching a live weather stream in Charlotte and they were already at 4 inches of snow. Okay. So, it's coming. Obviously, the radar that I had just showed you guys on the stream, on the screen, it's coming. So, it's me, Tim, using my phone today at Mr. Tim Tech GPT. We have another GPT going on here. All right. Welcome, Tim. TBJ says, I often do a lot, but feel like I didn't accomplish much. Yeah, I played with a lot of things this week, tech-wise, and nothing that I can actually say I was successful with. Your security cam says it's morning. Yeah, did it really? Let me go back. Where is it pulling? Oh yeah, look at that. Now it's interesting because I think that should be pulling the time from surveillance station, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. Good catch, Joe. Koala 20, good morning from Florida. Yeah, cold weather, cool weather, no complaints. Yeah, and we have no complaints either because what we're getting today is such a rarity. Be kind of nice, actually. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Tim says, snow looks pretty close to your region. Yeah, it should be coming through. They're saying 4 or 5 o'clock we should start to see it. I was kind of hoping it was snowing now so I can show you guys the live feed, but not like you haven't seen snow before. But like I said, it's such a rarity here. I think let's see, we've owned the property here since 2012. I think it snowed twice. And I mean, we're talking about barely a dusting and then within 45 minutes, gone, melted. So, yes, I would have to snow shovel my own driveway, yes. Keith says, I like the new light. Thank you, Keith, for noticing. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was playing around with it this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Thank you for the recommendation. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so I got a couple of new things going on in the studio. Let me, as far as the lighting is concerned, because we talked about it last week, let me see now if I can get the mobile cam to work, because that was one of the anomalies this morning that was messing up on me. I want to go back to that in a second. But let's see. Let's go to the Blackmagic camera app. And hopefully this will work. Let's see. Let's bring it in. Come on. Hey, there we go. Well, that's weird. Okay. It's here. It's in. All right, so I'm going to try to get up. I don't want to make you guys too sick. Let me switch desktops. So that is... Well, that's weird. Why is it coming in there? Anyway, let me switch to it. I just messed something up. All right. So what I tried to do first this week was play with the hair light. So I ended up installing that arm up there and putting my 11-inch newer LED light up there. It worked okay, but it was just way, way, way too much light, even on the lowest setting. So I ended up, let me just back up without killing things here. So I ended up having a light laying around from that we had purchased for Benny for the sports show. It's a real cheap, small LED panel. It's about 6 inches in diameter. And I have it attached to the desk rig going across, that my same rig that my overhead camera is attached to. However, It's not pretty, but I have it secured up there with a bungee cord going up to that other larger light mount that was installed for when my original studio setup was in place. So for right now, it's kind of holding this light because of gravity. The light kept, no matter how much I tightened the hand knob on the rail, it kept sliding down over time. So rather than getting hit on top of the head with the hair light, I have it just secured with the bungee for now. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it will work. So I got the hair light going on, and then coming over, well, I have this camera on. Coming over here, you can see I have the iPad mounted on the down arm of the rig and get a closer look at the actual mount. So it's a pretty sturdy mount. It's not a super clamp, but that's a pretty strong clamp back there, and I like the position that it's in because I could reach it pretty easily. And then the backup light behind the plant that we were talking about last week is right down here sitting in the plant, and I have the diffuser on it, but it's just enough to shine on that wall. And believe it or not, let me come back up here without making you guys ill. Let me shut this, go there and go here. Okay, so the I'm just kind of bummed. I just knocked out the. Why did that happen? Hold on. Oh, I know why it happened. Let's go there. There we go. All right. Give me one sec. Okay. So I played around this week, and I think I'm kind of happy with the additional lighting. That light back there, the new one that I showed you that I have sitting in the plant, that's the Aperture MC, the original. I mean, it's really, really tiny. In fact, let me just shut it down. I'm going to take the diffuser off of it just to show you the light itself. This little light is super tiny, but it's super handy. It's got a display on it on the side and all the controls on the left, and I have it paired with the phone so I can control it with the Cypress app. Sorry about that. Now to find the magnet. Okay. Can't find the magnet. Crap. I'll be right back. Found the magnet. So low. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Crap happens live, as we all know. I accidentally hit it with the light. But this light is powerful because, and I'm sure, Keith, you can attest to it. This is the original. They have a newer model, which I did not buy because it was $100 more. This was $99. So I have it set right now to match the other blue lighting behind me. And it's only on intensity of 1. So that's as low as it goes. And I could raise it. I mean, you could probably see it in the picture here if I raise it in the app. Let's see if I can manage to do that. Just waiting for the app to load. Okay, so yeah, it's on intensity 1. I'm just going to slightly raise it a little bit. So that's intensity 9. That's intensity 20. That's intensity 40, 50, 60, 70. No, actually that's 80. And that's 100%. So that little light is giving off all of that light behind me. So I'm going to bring it back down to the 1%. Which is right about there. Okay. So yeah, pretty impressive little light. And I like it because it's charged with USB. USB-C, and according to what Keith tells me, it lasts several hours. It came with this nice little pouch and case, which I probably will never use, but that was nice. So yeah, let me see if I could find it, and I could put a link in the chat if anybody's interested. Sorry about dropping the mic on you guys. I guess that's the disadvantage of wearing one. Okay. Let me grab the link. Copy. And here it is. Aperture. MC RGB light. So, yeah. In fact, looking at it now, it looks like it came down in price. I paid $99, I think. Now it's $90, which is kind of cool. RGB mini on-camera video light, 3200K to 6500 Kelvin. HSI mode. It comes with magnets, the case, the USB-C cable, etc. So really, really cool. I'm pretty happy with it. That's what it looks. That's a close-up of what it looks like with the diffuser on. So yeah. All right, let's go back to the comments and see what you guys are all saying. All right. All right, Grish says the recommended is still 6 megabit. YouTube will complain, but nothing will happen because they now support variable bit rates. Cool. Ali, welcome. Hello, and thank you for being here. Joe's saying, regarding bit rate, in my experience, the higher bit rate at 1080 doesn't look any better. YouTube transcodes it and squishes it regardless. Right. So there's really no advantage, for me to be streaming at HyperDeck low versus streaming high. Keith says YouTube is always warning about a higher bit rate for some reason. Yep. And Joe says, conversely, it will look better and let more bit rate through to the viewer at higher resolutions like 1440 or 4K. Makes sense. Grish is asking Joe about watching Ryan Hall. He corrected that. I have in the past, Grish, but this was a live drive around. You have a snowblower and have not used it in 2 years. When we had lived up in New Jersey, we had a snowblower, and I could say we used it quite regularly, especially when we lived in the western part of the state. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it. I'm assuming that's a super chat. I can't really tell with H2R graphics. It's not coming in any differently, but thank you. Speaking of weather, does North Carolina have snowplows? Yes, I didn't think we did, but we have very few, according to the governor. It was on the news last night. But they're not. They're going to concentrate on the primary highways and major roads. Like communities are going to be last to get to because of the limited amount of plows that we have Hey, if it works, it works. Bungee is fine and it's good anti-gravity device. Yeah, and like you guys don't see that. You know, if I didn't show it to you, you wouldn't know. Is the overhead light, or I should say the hair light, too much? I could bring it down a notch. I think after that, I mean, it's on the very, very, very low setting. Like, I mean, if I bring it down to this, does that make a difference? I mean, this is off. That's off. That's the low setting. You see how it lights up my hair. I guess I could see a little bit on my shoulders. This is the setting I had it on when I started the stream. Let me know if that's too much. You know, I thought about it when I hung it, Joe, and because just the physics and the gravity, I was like, this is not going to stay like this. And sure enough, I went downstairs and I came up a few hours later yesterday and it was hanging down. I was like, yeah, that's not going to be good. We got to come up with something. So the bungee worked. Yep. Fortunately, I had the old hair light mount installed on the wall, as you saw, and I was able to hook it to that. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have secured it. So, studio is looking great. Thank you, Bluey. I appreciate it. Adding the blue light in the background is helpful. Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm okay with it. You know, I guess I'm okay with it. I'm always looking to evolve, so. I think I skipped the comment. Hold on. Who knew we would see a belly dance? Sorry for what you saw. Can you share a link for the iPad clamp? I certainly can. Hold on one second, Koala. Which account? I hope I bought it under this account. I'm not sure. Might have bought it under the other account by mistake. Yeah, hold on one second. Got to switch accounts. So here it is. Let me just show it to you real quick. I mean, you saw it in person, but here it is. And like I said, this isn't a super clamp, but man, it's pretty darn built thick and well. So, and it's got some grip on it. So this whole thing was 25 bucks. This is not an affiliate link because I'm signed into my personal account, but I'll just share it. I don't care. If it helps you guys, doesn't matter to me. Let me just put this in the chat. There you go. Okay. There. All right, let's keep going through the chat. So Dave is asking, how does distance affect the Hollyland sound? They recommend in the instructions to mount it at the neck collar. So I have tried several different locations on my person since getting it. Originally, I had it up where you're talking about, Dave, like around the neck collar area. And I found it was way too hot. In other words, it was picking up every breath, every lip sound and everything. So I moved it down a little bit and I just kept moving it down. Right now it's lower than normal. I normally keep it right in the, what do you call that area, the chest here between the two chest muscles. Well, I usually keep it right down here between the two pecs, but I have it a little lower today. Let me raise it. Hold on one second. In fact, before I put it on, I'm going to try the different locations just holding it. So this is up right around the neck. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. And I can see that I'm clipping quite a bit. This is down about 2 inches. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Down about another 2 inches. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. And this is down where I normally wear it, between the chest bone and between the pecs. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. I had it a little lower today, but this is typically where I do wear it. So I don't know. What do you think? Did you hear a difference in the sound as far as the distance is concerned? Did not realize the plant was that close to you on camera. It felt 6 to 8 feet away. Yeah, cameras are deceiving, right, Keith? I feel the same way about your multi-view monitor when I'm watching your streams. It looks like it's so far behind you, and then when you take us on the studio tours, I'm like, oh, wow. And it looks so big. I would never think it was like a 20, I think it's a 27-inch monitor, you said, or somewhere around there. So yes, it does have magnets. It is a really nice light. I do like it a lot. Keith gave me the suggestion, well, I remember seeing that Keith had them, so I reached out to him because I just wanted something small and easy to maintain. Koala says, I have the same MC light. I use it all the time, especially behind my desk and rack to find my cables. Yep. There's the link. Joe says, I have one of those Aperture MC. It's a great little light, great for camera light too, as it has 1/4 20 thread. Yes. Joe says, I believe you can run it plugged in to USB-C. I imagine. Love it. Hair light looks great. Hair light is good on low. You had it dialed. We have a little discrepancy of opinion going on there. Okay. Practical IT. Welcome, Jeremy. At work, can't stay. We'll watch the replay later. No problem, my friend. No problem whatsoever. Don't work too hard. I did. I held off from getting the update because honestly, a lot of the features that John released, I probably will never use, in all honesty. So I decided not to. I mean, there's a charge for it. If you're an existing, it's $80 for 2 license, for 2 activations. And if you're an existing pro member, which I was, you got a 20% discount using a coupon code. He emailed all his existing license holders. So like I said, I wasn't going to do it, but then I bit the bullet yesterday and decided to do it. Again, some of the other things I've been playing with all week. Because I want to stay in the upgrade loop. I just don't want to be stuck on version 2. Even if I don't use the features in version 3 right now, maybe I'll have a use for them down the road. So I did. I bit the bullet and I installed it. And yeah. Thank you. Yes, the sternum. Grish got the Hollyland since it was $100. It will sound really good. It sounds really good, and I'm impressed how well it works. Yeah, I'm glad you took advantage of that, Grish. Agree with Tony. Go about 6 to 8 inches below the neck. Gives the best sound. Yep. The Elgato Key Light Mini is, Keith says the Elgato Key Light Mini is great. Is a great hair light. Yes, it's a 27-inch monitor. Yeah, and it looks so big behind you in your set. It's cameras are very deceiving. Joe says the plant is 8 feet away. Keith, if you ever meet Tony in person, he actually walks on his... That's funny. I think the hair light is good. Okay. Keith has the creative eye, so go with his opinion. He has the rat to ask. Ratso! All right, cool. So I don't need this anymore. I just wanted to see what the bit rate was. Let me close that. So today was one of those days where I came up to the studio and just everything was going wrong. I didn't think I was going to have pre-roll music during the live opening, because when I tested it out after upgrading to H2R Graphics 3, the opening, I don't have a way of showing this to you, but the opening segment, the timer and the faded screen and the music and the ticker, those are all assets in H2R Graphic that are being, the music, the faded screen, and the ticker are being triggered by the timer graphic. So when I press the timer graphic, it triggers the other three assets and all four of them come up and go live, which, by the way, I forgot to turn on my key, which is why part of the pre-roll wasn't visible until I realized the key was off, but neither here or there. When I came up and tested everything, the music was, it's a 2-minute and 17-second song, and it was over in 5 to 6 seconds. Like it was being 22 to 44 to 88 seconds to, I mean, it was just plowing through the music all chopped up. I was like, crap, the upgrade broke something. So I tried restarting H2R Graphics, and that didn't help. And then I said, I launched the built-in music player on the laptop and said, well, maybe I could just pump it in for now until I have time to troubleshoot it. Maybe I could just pump it in. I'll play the other assets and just pump the music in on its own. And then realized that the music player on the computer was doing exactly the same thing, so that it really wasn't H2R, it was the laptop. So I rebooted the laptop and problem solved. So, and I realized I probably haven't rebooted this laptop because all I use it for is this, which is such a shame, such a waste of a MacBook Pro. It's an M3. But I haven't rebooted it in quite some time. So I rebooted it, and so that panned out. So that was the first thing that didn't work. Then I also updated Companion this week. Again, I said I've been doing different things, but nothing of really earth-shattering. I updated from I was running version 2, and I updated, I skipped version 3. I went right to version 4, whatever the latest version is. And that broke a couple of things. So I got them all working. I got it working yesterday. And then I came upstairs this morning, and the mix effect integration with Companion wasn't working. So I couldn't switch my SuperSource shots using the Stream Deck. And I was like, really? Seriously? So I had to delete that integration. It deleted all of the assets, and I had to recreate all that from scratch this morning. So there was that. Then the decoder, when I went to test the mobile cam, the decoder wasn't working. It wouldn't connect to the mobile cam, or the mobile cam wouldn't connect to the decoder. So I rebooted the decoder. So it's just been one of those mornings where I was like, oh, seriously? But anyway, we're here, and things are going. So things are going well. Let's see. Alonzo says, welcome, Alonzo, on snow removal duty in South Carolina. Are you guys getting, well, yeah, because South Carolina, but where you are, you're near. Yeah, I know where you are, Alonzo. So yeah, you're getting it. Yep. Just watched a copy paper commercial. Oh, interesting. 22 watching? Seriously, I have Wow, cool. I don't have that, but then again, I never trust the statistics in YouTube Studio. Thank you, folks. Thank you. I appreciate it. We do have 14 likes, so that's kind of cool. Speaking of controversy, I think your old mic sounds better. I can't disagree with you, Jay. I mean, it's a nice, good quality studio mic, but I just, for moving around and doing things on a live stream, I just like not having it in the way. I mean, we're really not comparing apples to apples when you're comparing an RE320 to a wireless mic on a magnet. But I appreciate it. So, yeah, and I kept getting them. I ignored it when Companion went to version 3. I ignored it, but then I kept getting the update, the messages going across the Companion web browser window saying, you know, your version is old, your version is. So I was like, all right. So Keith says, that's why I pre-recorded my intro and outro every week. Music and video from the Hyperdeck, and then overlay my Skycam via OBS and ATEM key, macros and mix effect, no Stream Deck companion buttons. Yeah, yep. I don't use OBS, so, but I kind of like the way you do that live when you overlay the live cams. That's pretty cool. It was 22, now 16, now it's 17. The desk mic for sure sounds better. It's a bit brighter sounding. Keith says it's a bit brighter sounding RE320. That microphone is more mid to high. So, well, again, I do use it for my videos. I just don't. I like not using it for the live streams. I like having this space in front of me, although I do hit it, as you saw today. But yeah. All right. So let's see. We have the poll. Let's check the poll. 19 votes on the poll. Would you consider purchasing the Unified Drive, Unify UNIFY Drive UP6? 26% of the people here of the 19 votes said yes. 74% of the people said no. The Unified Drive. Let me bring it up on the screen. Let's do this. I don't know anything about this device. Keith sent it to me this week, asking me about it. So then I did a little research on it and found out that while it's a pretty impressive device, depends what you, I guess, what your needs are. But like it's got, it's mobile. That's the first thing, right? It's supposed to be so that you can transport it easily. It comes with the, 48 terabyte storage and 96 gig RAM max, dual Thunderbolt 4, 10 gig, external GPU support, plug-in backup, instant team. Let's see what else it says. It comes with 6 NVMe M.2 slots. 3 of them are Gen 4 times 4, and 3 of them are Gen 4 times 2. But let's just scroll down. It's got a 6-inch, like it says here, a 6-inch touchscreen, external GPU support, the Ultra 5125H processor, 14 core, real-time responsiveness, 7-core enhanced graphics performance, 11 TOPS, fast AI processing. So, I mean, pretty impressive device. The back section here, the NVMe slots are behind here. This back section is plastic. So I'm concerned a little bit about that, since that's where all the heart of your storage is right there. And I mean, I'm not knocking it, but for me, it's not something I don't think it's something I would buy, not at this price tag, because that's diskless. So the average 4 terabyte, let's say you put 4 terabyte NVMe SSD drives in this, fill this up. The average price is between, you can get them as low as $349 depending on the brand and the quality, and I've seen them as high as $12. But let's go somewhere in the middle. Let's just go $600 and an NVMe drive times 6. That's $3,600 on top of the $1,500 or $1,600 for the actual diskless unit. So in my mind, that's a lot of money to get 4 times 6 is 24 terabytes. When, like, to me, traditional NAS drives offer so much more capacity at so much less of a cost. But I think it's a neat device. I think it's an interesting device. I really would like all of you that are here to weigh in on that and let me know your thoughts in the comments on the Unified Drive UP6. I see the majority is that most of you here would not buy it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad device. For me, I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it because it's a bad device. I'm just saying from a cost-effective standpoint or perspective, I think $3,600 and $1,600, that's $5,200. I could do a lot more with that $5,200 than have a compact NAS to take with me in my bag. So, my opinion, I'd really like you guys to weigh in on that. So if you would, please populate the comments with that. So. All right, so let's see. Joe says most people are watching on their tiny phone speaker. Regarding the microphone conversation, they are both fine to use. I like you with the mini wireless just fine. I'm on the iPad latest edition. Great sound for an iPad. Cool. So, yeah. All right. So we got that. So again, Unified Drive, if we can get a conversation going on it, it would be great. Let me see. Talked about last week reviving the sports show. That's going to start whenever college football starts, which is usually end of August, and then NFL usually starts a week later. But we may do a trial show for the NFL draft in April, just to test out the new setup and the new software, which I think I've decided I'm going to go with the Talk Studio streaming platform for $12 a month. It'll be easy. I just have to investigate it a little bit more. I want to download this week. I want to actually download the free trial and make sure that I could remote control the show in the back-end studio without literally being on camera. So if I can do that, where I could just have the 3 panel people, the 3 panel guests, whatever, coming in via the Talk Studio link into the studio, and they're live to the audience and I'm not on camera. I just want to be able to switch shots and scenes and things like that, which I don't see why I shouldn't be able to do that, but I'm not familiar with that service, so I would think I can. And I also would like a way to have communication with them, and I don't know if I could do that through that back-end studio, or if I just... The other thing is, worst case scenario is I could always be on a Zoom audio call and everybody wear an earbud on the Zoom call. So if I need to communicate with one of the three of them or all three of them, I can, you know. So I'm thinking about that. And then I'm also thinking about this. Let me bring it up. I'm looking at a camera for L.L.C, which is one of the panelists. Let me go to Amazon. Okay, so back when we were on the market for a camera for Benny, we got him the Insta360 Link, which is a phenomenal camera. It did a great job. But now I'm looking at the Osbot Tiny 3, probably the Tiny 3 Lite, because I don't think we need all the extras for the extra $150 for less, just to have a decent quality picture coming in remote from a webcam. I think the Osbot Tiny 3 Lite AI powered cam will do. I like its tracking features. I know it's got some voice control and some AI voice adaptation features, but I'm looking at this. I saw Tom Buck did a video on it this week, and I saw another guy who did a comparison video. I can't think of his name, but he did a comparison video on the Osbot Tiny 3 versus the Osbot Tiny 3 Lite. And honestly, I think I'm okay with getting the Tiny 3 Lite, but I know we have some streamers out there in the audience, so if you guys can weigh in on this, it'd be appreciated. I don't even know if you could still get the Insta360, the original. Yeah, you can. So it's the same price. This is actually the Link 2. So I don't even know if you can get the original Insta360 Link. I think this is the original here. I think we paid like $259 at the time we bought it for Benny back in. We bought it from B&H, but like, here's the Insta360 Link 2, and I remember, Keith, you did a comparison on a live stream between the Link and the Link 2, and I think I remember saying to you at that time I liked the picture quality of the Link better than the Link 2. So moving on, thinking along those lines, why would I pay $199 for the Link 2 when I can get the Osbot Tiny 3 for the same price? Yeah, they're both selling for $199. So anyway, that's where my head is at with this. So you guys want to weigh in on that as well, that would be great. Let's see what's going on here. Keith says, very portable but expensive. At some point we need an SSD solution for travel and production, fast backup tool. I, as everyone know, use Samsung SanDisk SSD drives, 2 to 4 terabytes. I guess I'd be nervous to carry around a lot of spinning disks, so if portability is the ultimate goal, like if you're in a high-end video editor by trade, maybe. Yeah, again, I think I started off the conversation of the unified drive with depending what your needs are. For me, for my needs, I don't see it happening, but Keith is saying, go Hawks. I'm also going to give, I know you're talking about the Seattle Seahawks, but I'm also going to give a shout out to the local Division I college basketball team, who also go by the name the Seahawks, the UNCW Seahawks. They are 19-3 this season, so we are having a fantastic season. Yeah, Talk Studio is, it used to be a streaming service a platform called Melon when Melon first hit the scene, and they were trying to compete with StreamYard. Now I'm talking probably 2 or 3 years ago, but let's see if I can find Talk Studio. I mean, I have all this stuff in the studio that I could do the show with. I just want to make it easy for myself this time around. So, let me Talk Studio. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, Talk Studio is this guy right here. Let me get this off the screen. Go live and record in minutes. There is a 7-day free trial. Bring on guests instantly with just a link, similar to what you do with Zoom. Stream to multi-stream to all platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kik, YouTube. You can record while you stream. Local recording as well, built for the creators, podcasters. And yeah, so in the plans, I'm not going to claim my trial right now, but the plans are $7.50 a month or $90 for the year for the standard plan versus $12 or $145 for the pro plan. You can have 1080p versus 720p and up to 11 guests versus up to 5 guests. And I'm still hemming and hawing as to maybe I'll go with the 750 plan, because in all honesty, when we were doing the show, the first run of the show, Zoom limited us to 720p. And I know, Jay, you're going to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with live streaming at 720p, and I agree. Yet, there's something about 1080 that I feel like it's not a lot of difference in money. Just go for the 1080 and be able to host up to more guests. Not that we're going to have guests, but I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. So yeah, that's Talk Studio. I'll put a link to the site in the chat if you guys want to check it out. All right. Let's see where we're at in the comments. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to Wednesday nights live, probably at 8 o'clock, keeping it to 45 minutes because we're doing it completely different than the first go around. We used to try to secure retired high-profile guests, and which we've had a lot. And the channel's still out there if you want to go check out, see some of the stars that we've had on. But we're not going that route this time. We're just going to talk. They're going to talk sports. Just a couple of guys, like coming online, acting like analysts, talking about the previous week in college and pro football, and the upcoming week games in college and pro football. And if there's any like groundbreaking sports news happening that week, they'll talk about it. So 45 minutes or less is going to be the sweet spot. And I just want to be able to come up to the studio, get them in to the back end, the Talk Studio, and hit go live. I really don't want to be like doing everything I was doing for them in the first time around. The only issue, Joe says, I have with Talk Studio is Jeremy looks pretty low resolution to me compared to StreamYard, even though it's set to 1080. I'm curious if it's highly compressed in his web camera feed. I don't know. That's a good question. Web camera meaning when his good camera gets converted. Yes, through the ATEM, I'm assuming is what you're talking about. Ozbots are great, Tim says. Keith says, sensor is smaller. Yeah, it's a 1/2-inch sensor, and both are way less quality than the YOLOCAM S3 and the Insta360 Link 2 Pro. Now, I do like the YoloCam S3. I think I mentioned that on your last stream, but what's the price on that? Let me see if I can find that. I'm not seeing it on Amazon. Let me see if I can find it at B&H. That's not horrible. It's not horrible. Let's see. $219, $20 more. AI powered 4K live streaming cam. It's tiny. Interesting. All right, there might be another player in the game. Large, 1 1/3. Wow. Wow, that's got a nice sensor. Compared, right? I mean, that's bigger than the half. Oh, I might have to consider giving this one a look. All right, this is where I need these streamers like Keith and Joe and company out there, whoever else does live streaming, to weigh in for me here, because really that's $20 more. I'd go for this. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch your live stream again, Keith, from the other night. All right. All right, all right, all right. Okay, I did get this. So this, I haven't even opened the box yet. This is the, see if I can do this without cutting my hands off, cutting my fingers off. This is the Synology B drive that they sent me. Now it's interesting. I guess they have different divisions in their marketing. Because like I have my normal typical Synology representative, and then I got an email from a completely different person asking me, acting like they never heard of my channel, and asking, but had been following my channel, and said, would you like to consider doing a review on the new B drive, because it's been enhanced with AI. So I wrote to my original contact and said, hey, is this for real, or is this like a scam? Is this person real? And he writes back a couple of days later, yeah, she's sitting right next to me. So then I was thinking, like, I don't know, I guess just different people handle different products. But this is the B drive. You can see I haven't opened it yet. It's tiny. And it comes with a USB-C to USB-A adapter and a small USB-C cable. Probably looks, if I open it up, to be about a foot long. So what is it? I mean, is it an SSD drive? Well, it is. It's a plug into your computer type SSD drive. However, I'm not sure if they sent me the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte. They sent me the 2 terabyte. So it plugs into your computer, and it's a backup drive. It's a backup SSD drive. No different than, well, kind of similar to the way you plug in a flash drive, right? However, what makes it stand out from what I've been learning about it, because obviously I'd never had one before, what makes it stand out is the fact that once it's connected to your computer, it becomes available on the network to other devices running the B Drive app. So for example, my phone, if I install the B Drive app on it, I can wirelessly back up my files and my photos to the B Drive or other computers. So in that sense, it's pretty cool. It has apparently it indexes your entire hard drive. So if you don't remember the name, let's say, of the actual file that you have saved, you can just start typing in the words of what it's about, and then technically it will find that along with others. So yeah, it's like a real tiny device, and I'm looking forward to diving in and learning more about it. And they didn't say anything about having to send it back. I don't know that I actually have a use case for it myself, but maybe after I do the obligation video or videos on it, maybe I'll just auction it off or something as part of the 30,000 subscriber, for hitting 30,000 subscribers. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, so I got that this week, so I'm kind of excited to learn more about this device. The 2 terabyte, I'm not even sure how much they cost. Let me just see if I could pull it up online real quick. Let's see, B Drive. B Station, no B Drive. I wonder if Amazon has it. Yep. Okay. So Amazon has it for $189 for the 2 terabyte version. The one that comes in 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and 4 terabyte. The 1 terabyte version is $115. The 2 terabyte is $189, and then the 4 terabyte option is, well, it says options from one option at $414. So you got to be careful with Amazon. But $189 does sound about right. From a couple of the YouTube videos that I've watched on it. Simultaneously back up Windows files, iOS, Android photos, transfer files from a smartphone to a PC over Wi-Fi. Yeah, so this is it right here. Syncing or backup. It has something called B-Drop, which is similar to Apple's AirDrop. So yeah. So I'm getting, probably get to it this week. There's a lot. I got a lot of stuff to work videos on. I still haven't opened up the Switch, the GrandStream Pro Switch, but I did put together a spreadsheet on the differences between the 7806PL Pro versus the 7806P, the original loud switch. So... and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could take a look at that. I don't know. Let's see. Koala says, couldn't you just use a mini PC like a G-Tech or B-Link? Same concept. You probably build your own mini NAS unit. Yeah, I think this is geared for like creators, photographers, just to like throw in their pocket or in their bag rather than carrying around, the mini PC. But yeah, you absolutely can, Koala. Keith says, I just did a video on all 3 Insta360 Link, the Link 360 Link, the Link 2, and the Link 2 Pro. Oh, cool. I would definitely check that out too, Keith. Thank you. You don't want the webcam to be too good quality if you want viewers. What are you doing for audio for STS? Les is going to be in his own house. He's not going to be set up here. So he's just going to kind of have a setup similar to Benny's, where they're using the webcam with a laptop, and I'm probably just going to get him a similar headset, if not the same one that we bought Benny at the time, the headset with the mic. Because I always thought Benny's audio wasn't bad for what it was. So I think that's the plan. Chip size, context, I'm not sure what that is in relationship to. Is it talking about the cameras still? Yep, $199. Hey, DJ Ware, welcome. No problem. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Tim says, I have the YOLOcam S3, very reasonable and superb picture quality. Thanks to Keith for showcasing it. There you go. I think it has the best lens in the S3. For webcam, Logitech, Alonzo says, for webcam, Logitech 4K Pro, $199. Okay, another one to look at. Check out the Logitech Rally 4K camera. And Keith is saying you're welcome. All right. I haven't opened it yet. But I got myself the GMK Tech, which model is this? The Nook Box Mini PC. We'll unbox it in a second, but let me bring it up on Amazon. I am amazed at how much these have gone up in price from a year or two ago. I watched a couple of videos on a couple of the different GMK Tech mini PCs. It's funny that you brought up mini PC, Koala, because this exact configuration that I purchased a year and a half ago, somebody was mentioning in a review video for like $349 or $359. I paid $619, and I just looked at it again this week because I was recommending it to somebody else, and it was up, at least this week when I checked it again, it was up to $679 or $699, something like that. So it's just crazy what's going on. Let's switch accounts. Come on. There we go. Okay, where is it? Yeah, it's up to $679. I paid $619, but let me bring it up on the screen. I'll tell you what my plan is for it. So from 2 weeks ago, January 22nd, not even 2 weeks, a little over a week, it went up $60. So it's an Intel i9, 32 gig of RAM, DDR5. It's got 1 gig Gen 4 SSD. When it comes with Windows 11, but that's not staying. What I liked about this box was it's got the 2.5 gig Ethernet port on the back. It does have Wi-Fi 6. What I liked about it, what made me go with this over a couple of the other GMK Tech models, was the fact that the RAM is upgradable to 96 gig, which at some point when prices start to settle, if they ever start to settle, I will probably look to upgrade this PC. So this is my latest edition. It's got the Intel Iris Xe graphics, 96 EU graphics performance, the 2.5 gig high-speed internet, cooling system fan, yada yada. Okay, so what am I doing with this? I want to set up a second Proxmox node, and then eventually I have an old Raspberry Pi, but I also have an older, what's the name of the router that I have that Willie used to promote? In fact, he used to promote it to the point where they had a Willie House special configuration that they were shipping them with. I can't think of the name of the router. But anyway, I have that old router that I could use, either that or the Raspberry Pi, to use as a Q device so that I can actually do a high availability cluster. Again, I'm trying to expand my Proxmox. Let me just move this out of the way. My Proxmox, skills and knowledge set and stuff like that. So, and again, this I haven't opened. And it's funny, Joe, because this is one box that came in that about a week ago. It came in pretty quick after I ordered it, like a couple days. And this is one box, because Joe always teases me about the fact that I get stuff and I let it sit in boxes. This was one that I really had a hard time letting it sit in the box. I've been so busy, I couldn't get to it. So, all right, so you got some paperwork, order number stuff, more paperwork, whatever's in here in this packet, I don't know. We'll look at that another time. Let's see. Get that. I'll show you that in a second. I'll change views. I just want to see what else comes in the box. All right, so we got an HDMI cable and a power cable. And then here we have the brick. Yep. All right, so we have a power brick and the two Wi-Fi antennas. Now, this is, I don't know if I could read it. DC power. Output 19 volts, 6.32 amps, 120.08 watts. It's the power supply. So let's do this. Let's put this stuff here and take a closer look at the actual box. Let's go here to product review. All right, so you're looking at the front. So there's the power there. I don't even know what's on the front. Like I said, I haven't opened it yet. So you got two USB-A. I believe they're 10 gig USB-A ports. You have a USB-C, and then two more USB ports. You got venting all along the front. The power button looks like a little status light here. You got venting across the top of the unit. And then on the back, let me see. On the back, you got your HDMI up top here. Where is it? There we go. Looks like that's a COM port. And then you have your Ethernet port a little bit below that. Your barrel power right below that. These two copper are your antenna. The antennas just go on, but I'm not going to probably bother with that. It'll be hardwired. And then I believe two more USB-A 10 gig ports, the two more 2 gig ports. Then it's also got a display port. It's actually got two HDMI ports, and then the actual Kensington lock. On the bottom is where, I'm trying to hold this so you can see it. The 4 feet for mounting on a desk, and then you got this here, which is, let me see if I can get the screw out. Okay. Let's see if I can get this out. There we go. Okay. So on the bottom, it has an extra RAM slot here. It comes with the 32 out of the box, and then it's got three SSD NVMe slots here. So we got 2 of them in there already. I'm trying to see what they have. I understood that they came with Crucial, but I'm trying to, I just really can't see with my eyes. So, actually, it looks like there's 3 in there. I think all 3 are populated. But in any event, that's how easy it is to get to the RAM and to the NVMe slots on the bottom of the device. So, I'm kind of excited to start playing with this week. See if I can put this back on without destroying anything. I'll probably do a video on it before I blow it away. And then I'm also thinking, like, I want to probably make this the main node, and the Proxmox node that I have running now, make it the second node. So I'm going to figure out how the best way of accomplishing that, because this one's a little bit more of a powerful machine. That one's an i7 with 32 gig of RAM. That one I think can go up to 64, but it's an older machine. And this one is an i9 with the ability to go up to 96 mega RAM. So I will probably set up Proxmox on this and then figure out how to I'll move all the VMs. I might only move the ones that I'm using on a regular basis over to this for now. So get that in there. All right, well, I'm struggling with that a little bit right now, but I'll deal with that later. So yeah, so that's I'm excited about that. We'll see what happens. So let's go back to, oh my God, all the comments. Let's see. I'm looking for where we left off. Keith saying open, open, open. Oh wow, the GMK tech arrived. Yep, it's been here. Thunderbolt. Good question. I'm not sure. I know it's got the USB-C 3. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure. Da 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 da. COM port. The NVMe slots are Gen 4. 20 threads, 14 cores, 20 threads. I'm just looking real quick. I'm scanning the... I don't think so. I don't think the USB-C port doubles as a Thunderbolt port. So, anyway. I don't think so, Keith, but once I dig in a little bit further, I'll let you know. I bought a 96 gig DDR5 memory kit a couple of months ago at $269. I was going to say that's not horrible, but I just finished reading your, that's horrible, $1,180. Yeah, I can wait. The Protectly, yes, I could use the Protectly as the Q device or just the other Raspberry Pi that I have. I just have no use for the Protectly whatsoever, so I just figured rather than sitting in the drawer. Had a similar experience, Koala, 128 gig RAM with 1500. Wow, last week. This week it says call for quote. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even the mini PC went up from when I bought it to now. Lonzo has the B-Link Mini. Crazy times. Yep. He also has the HP Elite Desk 800 Mini G Series, great price on eBay. Tim is saying a DJ, not LOL, it's not going to be affordable for any home users soon. Sad though that RAM just keeps going up. Yep. Yeah, yep. I'm looking forward to getting, I'm probably going to do a video on it before I blow it away. Even though I did buy it with my own funds, I don't have to. When I say my own funds, I mean money that comes into the channel. I use that to put back into the channel. I'll probably do a video on it, but I want to become familiar with it first a little bit. Yep, outlook is bleak through 2028. Wow. Tony says, I have no plan and nothing to talk about today. Proceeds to pull out 10 pieces of cool tech to show. I got more. But I don't really have a plan. Like, you know me, Joe. Usually I'm pretty, organized with what I want to do. I just came up here, random shoot. He was holding out, LOL. The K10 should run Proxmox very nicely. I think so. Yeah, yep, for sure. Here's something wild. Check this out. Let me see if I still have this from before. No, that's the unified drive. Yeah, here. Check this out. And I realize why it's happening, but I just think it's funny. Makes you wonder why we do all this home lab stuff to what end, right? Is it really an advantage? All right, so here's where I'm going with this. By the way, still no snow outside. In fact, the skies look quite a little blue in the back there, so we'll see. I'm kind of hoping it starts snowing while you guys are here. But anyway, so there's that. But what I wanted to show you guys was, so I have this speed test set up on the Synology. It's running in a Docker container. And so I can test my internal 10 gig speeds. So this is connecting via IP address directly to the Synology, right? So watch this. Here's yeah, there we go. So these are my internal speed to connect the 10 gig connection between my Mac Studio over the network to, not directly to the 1621, but via the network to the 1621. So you can see I'm getting pretty good speeds for the 10 gig connection. So now we're going to go to here and refresh this page. This is the same speed test server on the 1621, but if you look at the, here I went via IP, here I went through the FQDN that I have set up. Now this is running through the Proxmox server because Nginx Proxy Manager is running as a virtual machine on the Proxmox node. So obviously I'm limited to that 1 gig NIC, I guess, in that machine. But check this out. Same speed test from the same desktop computer. And I know why it's happening, right? I just mentioned it because it's going through the 1 NIC. That's the bottleneck on the Proxmox server. However, point being is, let's just let this finish. There we go. So you could see, I mean, I'm getting close to 1 gig speeds, right? So point being is we dabble as home labbers with all this stuff. Oh, we're gonna, I'm going to run a DNS server, and I'm going to do it in a VM, and I'm going to do an Nginx proxy manager so I can have, secure FQDNs internally, using Let's Encrypt. But the trade-off, look at the trade-off, right? I mean, the trade-off in speeds. So there's, again, let's go back to here. There's the speeds via IP bypassing the Proxmox node, and then here's the speeds through the Proxmox node. So, I mean, unless I'm going to buy a Proxmox server with the 10 gig card in it to get the actual true benefits of what the network's capable of doing, this stuff to me is for fun and for learning, but to what end? There's no advantage. So I just wanted to share that because I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, that's my perspective on things. So let's go back to the comments. TVJ said, I had to step away. My washer started leaking all over the floor. Ay, sorry to hear that, Jay. Do you have a water sensor? Did it alert you at least? Keith says, Bitcoin mines drive up graphic cards, and now AI and data centers. I think that says AI, yeah. AI and data centers doing the same thing with memory. At least we have so many fake Bigfoot videos. What's the pantry light update? The pantry light is doing great, Joe. Let me show these guys what we bought. I think that's on my other Amazon account, so hold on. Switch accounts. And go to my orders. So, courtesy of Joe, I ended up getting these lights here for $24 for the pair. These are the 14, almost 15-inch light under counter light strips. The magnetic backing. They could be used under counter or for closet light situations. So where I was with the project, I mean, talk about timing is everything. I had, after that live stream where I told you I was going to figure out how I can get electric to that room and yada, 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 I had scoped all that out. I stuck a hole through the ceiling and put a hanger up through it, and then went up in the attic to see where the hanger was, and I realized, yeah, I can get electric to that point so that I could run regular LED, not a can, but a LED puck light. And then so then my next step was, once I realized I can get electric to that ceiling, where was I going to get the electric from? Where was I going to take it? So I scouted around the attic looking for junction boxes and found where I could take the electric from to run a Romex line to the ceiling on top of the closet. So I got that. So I got two of three options that I had to explore done. Could I get access to the top of the cabinet, and where can I get the electric from once I could realize I can get to the top of the closet? The third thing I was going to explore was, I knew where I wanted to put a wall switch inside the closet and then put a smart switch in there that I could control through either Apple Home or Home Assistant, whichever. So with a sensor, so that when my wife opened the door, the light would go on, it would sense the motion. And so the day I had my tools out, and the day I was going to go into the attic to drill, like I was going to look for the top, move the insulation and look for the top plate to drill down into the wall cavity so I can then cut my 1 gang box for the switch. Joe sends me a signal message and says, check these out. And when I looked at them, I think actually the ones Joe sent me were the 10-inch ones, and I'm glad I went with the 14-inch. I don't even, oh yeah, here's the 10-inch. The 10-inch ones are a little cheaper, but when I saw that they were almost 15-inch sizes, I went with those for a little bit more money. Boy, I got to tell you, they work. Well, actually, let me go back to that. They work great. If you look down here where I'm exploding the view, those are the little sensors down there. You have on, off, or motion settings on the switch. They're chargeable via USB-C. And I figured, what the hell? I mean, even if I have to charge them up every couple of months, it's no different than the blinds that we have, that I have, the rechargeable blinds that I have in the lanai every couple of months, and they go up and down every day, and I really only have to charge them literally every 6 months. So if I could do the same thing with those little lights. So I have them mounted. You open the door and they're mounted on the inside, on each side of the door facing into the closet. So when my wife walks in, it senses her and the lights go on. She's happy, I'm happy, saved me a lot of work. And it also saved me a lot of money because I spent $25 versus the puck light I was looking at was $89. The roller Romex was about $60. Then the light switch and the sensor was about, another between $50 and $70. So I saved a lot of money and a lot of work. So thank you, Joe. No problem, Jay. I appreciate it. I've just been babbling, like no plan really, just kind of showing. I got the B-Link, not the B-Link, the B drive from Synology, the little DAS drive that is available over the network once it's plugged into your computer. I also got, I don't know if you were here, but I got the GM Tech Nook i9 with 32 gig of RAM for a second Proxmox node, which I want to make the primary Proxmox node. Question. Now, Jeremy's not here, but DJ Ware, you're here. Alonzo, you're here. So you Proxmox users, I know Grish is kind of listening. Jay's here. I don't know if you're familiar enough with this yet to answer, but so my current node is set up with, let me just get there real quick and show you. See, I actually have a question. All right, so let's go here. All right, so I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I'll go full screen. You don't need to see me. So my main node, I have down here, my Ugreen NAS is set up as an NFS share. So I have my ISO files and my virtual machines on the Ugreen NAS NFS share. I also have, before I loaded Proxmox backup server, I also have the backup of all my virtual machines going to the NFS share on the Ugreen NAS. So then I set up Proxmox backup server, and I set that up, if you guys remember, on the TerraMaster, and I set it up 4 drives, ZFS volume. So in turn, right now I have 2 backups. My node backs up nightly to the NFS share, and it backs up nightly to the Proxmox backup server share, the ZFS share on Proxmox backup server. My question is this. Once I get the second node set up, can I use the same NSF share as storage for node number 2? So can I make it like a shared storage scenario? So that I want to know before I've been, I this week I want to dig in and research it, but I want to know if that's possible. And then I guess I could use it. I guess I can use it to store the ISOs and the virtual machines like I'm doing with node 1, but if I move, like I was thinking about these machines that are running AdGuard Home, Image, Home Assistant, Bento, and Nginx proxy server, I was thinking of moving those to the GMK Tech machine. So that means I'll probably have to reconfigure my backups, correct? This is just my thinking out loud. So yeah, any guidance you guys can provide on that would be appreciated. So, all right, let's go back to the comments. Going to put my ECC server memory RAM on eBay. Trophy yellows. Shouldn't it be just the proxy, the DNS request? It shouldn't be proxying all the traffic. It is proxying the DNS, all the DNS requests, Joe, are pointed to Nginx Proxy Manager, which is how I'm able to use the wildcard certificate for all of the different services. So if you look at it real quick, let's go to let's go to AdGuard Home, and then let me launch Nginx. Where are you? There. All right. So the way I have it set up is if I go to my rewrites, so I have a DNS rewrite pointing to Nginx, which is a virtual machine. Actually, these are both virtual machines on the Proxmox node, AdGuard and Nginx. And then I have all of the other services or boxes or whatever, or virtual machines pointed to the Nginx proxy. So that what's happening over in Nginx proxy, under the proxy hosts, like here, for example, let's look at this one here. Let's look at the DS21, 1621 plus. You got pointing to engine. So the rewrite, the DNS rewrite's pointing to Nginx Proxy Manager. Nginx Proxy Manager is then pointing to the actual IP and the port, and then that's where you can use the wildcard SSL certificate. So yeah, so that's what's happening. So, you know, again, the NIC is on, it's just a 1 gig NIC on that Proxmox node. So I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know if I, you know, just don't know what I'm talking about or what, but anyway. Keith says, I need to beef up my IT skills. I feel like a junior hire at a senior party. That's awesome. My Proxmox servers have 10 gig. Yeah, well, that's because you have true server. You have actual servers. So, yes. This started out for me as just, I want to learn for fun, and now I'm really getting friggin' addicted to it, which was what I was afraid of. In theory, DNS requests should be just asking for the IP address for the FQN, then, right. However, because a lot of the services are port-based, you're not going to get the port on a DNS request. That's where Nginx proxy comes in and gives you that extra ability to route to the port number. Link for the lights. Link for what lights, Keith? So the money... Oh, link for the lights, the closet lights. Gotcha. Yeah, sure. Hold on. Hold on. Somewhere. Here we go. All right, hold on 1 second. I just gotta copy this. This. Okay. Copy and paste. Hold on. I didn't give you the link. Duh. There you go. All right. So for the money saved on lighting can be used for a K10 RAM upgrade. Well, yeah, I don't know how much RAM I'm going to be able to get for $150. Not much. Grish is staying still listening. Cool. Yes, when you join to the cluster, it will pick up and use the... Oh, cool. All right, so all right, awesome. Thing at the data center scope replicate across all... Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you, Grish. No backups. No, backups will not be reconfigured since they are set. Oh. Okay. All right, good to know. Thank you. So, all right. I think that's, I mean, just looking at my notes. I did upgrade to H2R Graphics 3, but I haven't played with it. Maybe I'll play with it this week a little bit and show some of the new features. I don't know. I want to go over the weekly polls, and then I'm going to probably pose a question to you guys, because that's something I'm going to need help on, but not this week because I'm already going for almost 2 hours. But maybe something we could do next week together. All right, so this was yesterday. This was Wednesday. This was Monday. And then this must have been Saturday. Okay, so we'll start there. All right. All right, looking at the polls, let me get the comment off the screen. Okay. Last Saturday's poll, I think it only had like 20 or 30 votes by the time the stream hit. So we got 182 votes. And when a security update drops, 42% of you said install immediately. 54% said wait a few days. 2% said rarely update, and 2% said ignore updates. I fall in the 54% category. I usually wait a few days, maybe even a few weeks, so that things work themselves through. Let's look at some of the comments. Yeah, Jeremy says depends on whether the update is critical. Yeah, I went through some of these comments last week, so we did cover this one last week. Let's go back to here 3 days ago. This was an interesting one. This got 152 votes. If your data completely vanished today, you are fully backed up, 40% of you said that. Mostly backed up, 38% of you said that. Have some files saved, 10%, and I'm doomed, 12%. I fall, myself personally, I fall into the 38% mostly backed up. Let's see if any comments. I use sync things to back up my business files and important personal files. The files are located in 3 PCs, yada, yada, yada. And then he goes on to say, server has 6 drives. You could lose 2 drives, yada, yada. And then this guy asked me, when you say data, what do you mean? The data on a laptop, PC, or your data at your house? So I kind of replied to him, basically saying data as in your important files. It could be from multiple devices in your home or business. In general, your important files. If you experience a hard drive failure or you lost your phone, do you have a means to recover your data? So I guess I need to be a little clearer. All right. Then we got 3 days ago. What steps do you take to secure your smart home devices? 131 votes. 81% of you out there said separate network VLAN with firewall rules. 11% of you said strong passwords only. 5% of you said using the out-of-the-box settings, and 3% said I'm not concerned. And then if we look at the comments, Terrell said, not concerned yet, as my smart home, or as my only smart device is my thermostat. And then Catherine said, I have a dumb home and it will stay that way too. What did I say to her? Oh, no, I didn't. David said, Catherine, mine was the same until I became a YouTube creator. Then everything seemed to spring everywhere with Wi-Fi connectivity. Fair enough. And then yesterday's poll, what do you rely on for security in the endpoint? What do you rely on for endpoint security in the home? 18% paid security suite, 31% built-in OS protection, 45% built-in firewall protection, and 7% said not worried about this. So I kind of fall into multiple categories, like definitely protection at the router level with IDS and geo filtering, and then desktop protection, and then just education. I mean, so let's see what some of the comments are. IFPF Sense, Next DNS, and Bitdefender in phones and Windows computers, and my laptop. Yep, so it's a combination. To add, I don't visit sites that are questionable. I have virtual machines for that purpose. On reboot, VM starts at the preset configuration. Updates or apps installs do not survive the reboots. Alonzo says education. Yep, education on what not to do. I do not use third-party antivirus or malware. Interesting. And Grish says, I am concerned that a lot of people think a firewall can stop threats. Not really. Most traffic nowadays is TLS on port 443, which if you block, you pretty much don't use the internet. Can't use the internet. Even with deep packet inspection, it's not possible to block all threats. Best to first focus on endpoint and use zero trust ways of thinking. Yep. So those are the polls for the week. I think I have to get some more out there too. I think I only did it through the end of January. So maybe I'll work on that while we get snowed in. Speaking of snow, anything? Nothing yet. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the comments. Grish says the only thing to be mindful of is on Ugreen, you might need to put the new Proxmox node IP on. Yes, that I know, Grish. That much I've already realized. I have to go allow the IP address from that node on the NFS share. Yes, thank you. You do have to do that on Ugreen as well. Right, the port would require all traffic. I think there is an alternative, though. Could be. But actually, it may not matter much. Actually, large transfers are not using DNS. Right, correct. Just your web administration would be proxies. Correct, yes. Zero trust and cubes. Okay, so one of the things I was working on this week, and maybe I'm going to continue to play with it this week, and if I don't get it solved, then I'm going to present it on next week's stream where I'm at and see if we can get this solved. So I installed, well, actually I trashed everything now because I got so frustrated. I tried 2 days this week, and usually when I persist at something that I don't understand, I can usually get it figured out. But this one I just gave up on for now. But here's what I'm trying to do. I installed SyncThing on the Ugreen NAS in Docker, and I installed SyncThing on the Synology DS1521, 1525 Plus in Docker. Installations went well. Was able to get to the SyncThing interface on each web interface on each box. Was able to link the two boxes together, like add the remotes so that they saw each other. But every time I tried to share a folder from, let's say, the Ugreen to the Synology or the other way around, I kept getting a bind failure. And I tried digging in and obviously researching the permissions, making sure I had the right permissions. So I don't know what I'm missing, because I can get the two machines to talk to each other, to see each other, but I can't get the sharing to happen, which it's not supposed to be that difficult. So then I tried to I said, all right, well, I know that's going through Docker and the containers and all. Let me see if I can get it happening on two of my laptops just by downloading the image package and just make it work that way. But my one laptop was so old, it wouldn't install SyncThing. So back to the drawing board this week. And if I can't figure it out, next week I'm going to present both boxes with them already interconnected and talking to each other, and see if you guys can help me figure out the problem I'm having getting the files, the folders to share. So, and the reason I'm doing this is, again, one, for my own learning, but I also had a viewer ask me, saw one of my remote backup videos, and he's got a situation where he's in streaming, almost similar to your situation, Joe, where your editors are in a remote location. And I don't know which one of them has the Ugreen NAS and which one of them, who has the Ugreen NAS and who has the Synology NAS, but he presented it as, is there a way to get my files shared from a Ugreen NAS to a Synology NAS, or maybe it was the other way around. I'm this, and I have an editor, and I need to get the editor my files, and two-way sync between the two. That's what it was. It was a two-way sync question. And, and I said to him, yeah, I mean, a couple of things came to my mind. First came to my mind was using Synology, drive sync, and then mounting the Ugreen as an SMB share. But then I said, then I realized that I saw the comment on SyncThing this week. I've never used SyncThing. And I said, oh. And then I did a little research on SyncThing, and I replied to the viewer saying, I've not done this, I've not tried this, but apparently you can accomplish what you're trying to do with SyncThing. So maybe that's the direction you want to look into. And I could have left it alone at that, but me being who I am was like, I want to take it to the next level and see if I can help this person and not just leave them out there with, look in this direction for your solution. Maybe I could help them and provide a solution. So I started to play with it, and I got far, but I didn't get as far as I would like. So anyway, that's, so like I said, I started off the stream by saying, I played with a lot of stuff this week, but literally didn't get too far. And I updated Companion. I updated H2R graphics. I had things break on me this morning. I've been spending some time trying to figure out the issue with sharing and the permissions with SyncThing going across the two NASs. So, while I feel productive, I don't feel productive, if that makes sense. But in any event, I'm babbling now. So we got 16 people here still, unbelievable, and 17 likes. Thank you, everybody. We'll see what this week brings. And if I don't get the sharing situation solved, then I will present it on the stream next week and see if anybody has any suggestions. And we will go from there. So on that note, I am going to go downstairs and hang out with my wife, see if I could figure out how to watch Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia via VPN, and go from there. So get ready for the snow and see how that happens. So anyway, on that note, I just saw a comment come in, so hold on. Joe says, do you care about seeing the IP and the port address in the bar? If you did a redirect from an easy URL, that would work. No, I don't really care, Joe. In fact, my password manager kind of remembers all my places that I go, and whether they're internal or external, and gets me there without having to type in the IP addresses. I just, wanted to get on the bandwagon and further my learning a little bit. So anyway, great stream. Heading back to the junior high room. No, stop that, Keith. That's not, you know what? We're all here and we're all here to learn, right? So yeah, no, I appreciate you being here. And trust me, I've learned from you over the years. Cheers, Koala. Thanks for stopping in. Bluey, thank you. Thank you for being here every week. I appreciate it. Thank you all for who stop in every week. I appreciate you guys. And on that note, I really am taking it to a close. Have a great week, everyone. Stay warm wherever you are, and we will see you guys next Saturday. Take care.